Hello, Dr. Jim Gishwin here. I am getting really upset. Okay? Look, I'm a career former intelligence specialist under Reagan up in D.C. And I teach history. I try and teach these kids. I said, I want you to sit there and understand the flow of history, how history repeats itself. It is repeating itself. They are sitting there trying to do all sorts of illegal things on the election, trying to get illegals to vote. They're going to try and get that bill passed through Congress that'll stop the illegals from voting. Governor DeSantis down there has a excellent thing set up, and I'm doing the polling station, and I'm telling you, nothing illegal about it, and people get to vote. In fact, the supervisor of elections is coming to my class to sit there and help and show them and actually let them vote on a practice machine, of course. Anyway, all these lies that are coming out, I mean, for goodness sakes, Bernie Sanders said it exactly the way it was. He said she's just, he basically said that she's just sitting there saying whatever it's going to take to get elected. Now, haven't I told you about progressives and communists and the socialists and all these people? They will do whatever means possible. The end justifies the means. Remember that always. The end justifies the means. And it has always been that way with totalitarian people in history. They sit there and say that they're trying to preserve democracy. Well, there's no such thing as a democracy in this world anyway, because democracy is mob rule. That's why our founders were specific to sit there and say we were a constitutional representative republic. Trump missed it when he sat there and talked about abortion. He should have sat there and said, it's not one of the enumerated powers that belong to the federal government. Health and welfare does not belong to the federal government and enumerated powers. So Medicare in the states, Medicaid that is in the states, and it was returned to the states for the local people to vote on. It was returned to the states and the people as dictated in the Constitution. If it's not an enumerated power listed in the Constitution, it belongs with the states and the people. That's it. That's all he had to say. Now, they can't pass a bill in Congress about abortion because it would be unconstitutional. They'd have to pass a constitutional amendment. Number two, he has never said he would do anything to limit Social Security. In fact, he sat there and warned people that putting illegal immigrants on it will destroy Social Security. He said he would not change one single day of your eligibility. In other words, he wouldn't change the eligibility date. In fact, he wanted to sit there and say, let's make the Social Security not taxable anymore. I pay tax on it. I'm pretty upset that I have to pay tax on it. That's paying tax on something I've already paid taxes on. Okay? My income from over my career. So that's basically unconstitutional to sit there and tax your Social Security. All right. The other thing, this Project 2025, I don't know what it is. I could care less. I think the Heritage Foundation came up with it with suggestions for the platform. And Trump never even saw it. It was a platform committee that saw it and dismissed it. Okay? That is not part of the Republican platform. Get that straight. Number three, that was not unconstitutional what happened on challenging an election. Every person since Reagan just about has challenged an election. All right. In fact, Hillary tried to do it constitutionally, just like Trump tried to do it constitutionally. The president of the Senate, which is the vice president, counts the votes from the delegates. And if they believe that there's irregularity in one of the states, they have the authority to sit there and tell that state to go back and recount and redo their delegates, or have an alternate slate of delegates. What's required, though, and what Hillary didn't have, you need a couple congressmen, but you need a senator to sit there and bring it up during the counting of the delegate ballots. Hillary did not have a senator, okay? Trump did. Trump had Lindsey Graham and Ted Cruz. In fact, he had two of them. Okay, and of course we all know about the challenging of the vote back in 2000. And they challenged the vote when George Bush won the second term. And they challenged the vote when Obama won. Okay? But they didn't have senators. If there's a tie, it goes to the House of Representatives, the whole Congress as a whole, just like the vote of 1800, Jefferson and Adams. It took 35 ballots for them to sit there and decide on Jefferson. That is what the Constitution dictates, people. Okay? So he has every right to challenge an election. He doesn't have to sit there and say, I will accept. What is the other one? Everything that she's stolen from him. Let's see. And of course, she had her one-on-one interview with a local radio or TV station. I forget what it was, whether it was radio or TV, but you can get it on the internet. And she started, when he said, let's drill down on what you would do to sit there and stop the inflation. And she sat there and started out with, I was born a middle class. She did the same thing that she did during the debate. You know? Didn't even come close to it. And he's sitting there saying, let's drill down on this, please. And, oh, forget that. And, of course, she has destroyed California. She has destroyed San Francisco. She was raised by a communist parent, or parents. We only know that the father taught Marxism in Berkeley. And her grandfather was a slave owner in Jamaica. Okay, England in the 1813 sat there and paid him for the slaves when they emancipated them. He wouldn't emancipate them, so England had to sit there. Great Britain had to buy them from him and emancipate them themselves. She's not African American. She's Jamaican and Indian. Okay? So, get that through your heads, people. She's not going to be the first African American female president. She's not African American. Okay? And she was raised in Canada, too, even though she's an American citizen. Okay, number 2. All these flip-flops. My God. And then at the very end, she goes, wink, 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 my values haven't changed. In other words, all those radical views that she had on tape and on interviews before, those are her values. So she's just saying, like Bernie Sanders said, whatever it takes to get elected. He said, pragmatic. Well, that means saying what the voters want to hear. She sat there and tried to put on a southern drawl or something like that when she was speaking down in Georgia. You talk about catering to your public. Okay, and of course she wants to sit there and tiptoe and not upset her extreme lefties, and that's why she did the wink, wink, my values haven't changed. All right, she'll probably take Michigan. Michigan's full of Muslims. And she is anti-Semitic. She can't stand Israel. She won't even meet with the man, which is one of her jobs. I mean, if the president isn't available to meet a foreign leader, she has to go meet him. That was one of her jobs, just like the border was one of her jobs. Okay. And they sit there and get on Trump. Well, the latest news articles have proven that what Trump said was true, that the neighbors have been complaining with the city council down there, even though the city manager sat there and told that newsman that there's no such thing. Okay? They lied. Of course they all lie. Okay? It's a constant thing with them. You got to sit there and dig down and get past their lies, man. You got Tampon Tim up there. Almost said wrong thing. Tampon Ben Tim. Believing tampons in restrooms for boys. She's never addressed that, whether or not she agrees with them. Okay. He has students being paid by the Red Chinese to go visit China. He has a Red Chinese police station in Minneapolis. You got people moving out of Minneapolis saying they're fed up with this crap. Okay? His crap. You got his stolen valor thing, which he has never sufficiently addressed. I've never said I'm a hero, because I ain't. Okay? I was always in the rear with the gear, the beer, and the fear. Of course, there's people in the rear are needed for the people in the front. Of course, as a Marine, you're always a rifleman. So if you get stationed somewhere where there's stuff going on, you still have to sit there and stand guard duty. You still have to stand perimeter duty. It's just the way it is in the Marine Corps. Any Marine will tell you that. Anyway, getting back to this basics here. Man, you got two communists. This guy sat there, the vice president, taught in Red China. You can't teach in Red China unless you're teaching them what they want you to teach. And he actually loves it there. He got his wedding anniversary or wedding done at Tiananmen Square on the anniversary of the Tiananmen Square massacre. He just loves them. So, it's up to you folks. This has never been so delineated. You either want a communist government, you want to be a subject with no rights. They're trying to take the rights away left and right. Your attorney general just came out and said, oh, well, people that question elections should be questioned also. And states should be investigated that require photo ID to vote. Excuse me? Everyone's got a photo ID. It's not a racial thing. If you want beer or cigarettes, you need a photo ID. Let's get real, people. There's nothing racist about a photo ID, unless your photo's terrible. Okay? Then blame the DMV. Don't blame racism. Okay? So, folks, communism or our republic. If communists win, that's it. That is the end of our country. There will be no borders. We will have a total globalist thing set up, and Europe's sitting there gearing up to sit there and squash free speech already. They've already locked up one social media guy. This is it, folks. You need to get out and vote. Don't take anything for granted. Don't take anything for granted. And pray to God that we don't wind up under a communist tyranny, which is already starting. Take care. I love you. God bless you. And God bless America.